This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
This is absolute tosh.
Torrential rain that has shut down schools and caused travel chaos continued today, but forecasters say that it is going to ease tomorrow. Ease? What, not stop? When is it ever going to stop raining? The Met Office is predicting better conditions over the weekend. Better? Better than what? It's like a swimming pool out there. Meteorologist Ollie said there's going to be a few showers knocking about. Was that scientific terminology? He doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about. Knocking about, but nothing in terms of accumulation. Oh, accumulations. Now we're back on firm scientific territory. Accumulation. 5 syllables. Excellent work, Ollie. He said, or she, sexist, said there's going to be a few showers knocking about, but nothing in the terms of accumulations of rainfall like we've seen over the last week. Well, how could there possibly be more wet up there? He said we get a pulse of rain that's, or they said, they is plural. They can't be a single person. So, well, let's not get bogged down into that. We're talking about this bog. The entire country's a bog. Not that kind of bog, the other kind of bog. You know, the RRR, that kind of bog. There's going to be a few showers knocking about. We'll get a pulse of rain that's going to move in from the southeast later on into parts of Kent and Sussex, wherever that is. He said wet weather's going to move north and westwards tonight. North and west. Hey, that's you, Glasgow.
Affirmative.
I bet it is. I bet it's raining absolutely continuously. I'll check while you wait. This is brought to you as a public service. No, not raining tonight, but raining tomorrow. And hey, what's this? Sunny on Sunday and Monday? Rubbish. And then normal services resumed in Glasgow. Wednesday is raining, and raining on Thursday and raining on Friday, and not raining on Saturday. I don't believe a word of that. It's an app. You can't trust apps, and I think you'll find that is correct. Residents in the north were warned of risks of icy roads and were told to speed up and tailgate the car in front, drive really close to their back end and lean on their horn like their life depended on it. Of course, if you are in a Range Rover, you will already be doing this. The leaders of councils in Doncaster, Rotherham, Sheffield, Barnsley, Bassetlaw and Kirklees have written to the Community Secretary, Robert Jenrick, saying these aren't just comedy northern names we've made up. These are actual places, damn it. They said they are a warning of considerable and lasting damage and urging more funding to help them cope with future flooding. Didn't Boris Johnson chuck him what was essentially the spare change that he found in the ashtray of his limousine on the way up? Didn't he say you all get £500 each? What are they going to do with that? I mean, it's not going to fix anything, is it? Just make them feel better. You could buy a dog. The Guardian reported that 1,800 homes and businesses have been affected by flooding in South Yorkshire. Good grief. What's happening in this country? It's a good job there's no such thing as global warming. That's just all a scare tactic by the Chinese to stop Donald Trump using so much hairspray.
Oh, shut up!
On Friday morning, Martin Christmas. That's his actual name. From the environment, Martin Christmas. Come on. Is it? Second name Christmas? Maybe he's just named after his favourite time of the year. Yo ho ho.
No.
Martin Christmas, out of the Environment Agency, said that people had been trying to... oh no. Guess what, if you had to guess what people are stealing in South Yorkshire, what would be your first guess? That's right. Water pumps. They're stealing water pumps.
Oh, fabulous.
We'll steal anything. Do you want the long-range weather forecast?
No.
Heavy rain is going to spread eastwards across Wales and parts of southern and central England from Tuesday, and this is from next Tuesday until the end of the month. And at the end of the month, it's going to be December. Can you believe that? Blimey, it flies when you're out your mind, don't it? That's heavy rain on Tuesday, spreading across Wales and parts of southern and central England through Tuesday, and towards the end of the week it should turn milder, with a risk of prolonged rain likely across western parts with the possibility of some hail snow. Why is it raining so much? A risk of strong winds. Get that scientific hippie off the television to call in and he'll explain it to us. Oh, look at the sky, it's amazing. A risk of strong winds and coastal gales across the west, more settled in the east, frost and fog overnight. That's until the end of the month. Now, into the first 2 weeks of December, a transition to more settled weather seems likely, at least for the southern half of the UK. Periods of rain are possible. Temperatures are expected to be about average or just above average for the time of year. Above average? We'll take it. Still, it could be worse. We could be in Venice. If you haven't been to Venice yet, then you should go now while it's still there. I mean, not now, but, pencil it in for next year while it's still there. It is the most amazing place I've ever been in my life. It's just, words fail me. It's like being transported into a canaletto. It's still like that. And it's experiencing the worst floods in 50 years. And the Venetian council offices were flooded 2 minutes after rejecting measures to combat climate change. Talk about poetic justice. The Palazzo Ferro Fini on the banks of the Grand Canal began taking on torrents of water at 10 p.m. on Tuesday last, just moments after amendments were tabled to scrap diesel buses and reduce plastics. And the right-wing coalition rejected these amendments to tackle climate change. Minutes later, they were underwater. In a Facebook post, a Democratic Party councillor, Andrea Zanoni, accused the Premier of the Veneto region and a member of the Salvini's League Party of offering a budget with no concrete actions to combat climate change. What is it with right-wingers and combating climate change? They just seem to be ideologically opposed to it. It's bizarre. Maybe they all live on upper floors of buildings. They're in the penthouse suite. Don't matter to them. It was local media in Venice was told 2 days ago that Venice was faced with total apocalyptic devastation as the city faced its highest tide in 50 years. It reached more than 6 feet above sea level, the second highest ever level recorded in the city. So whatever is happening to you, it's not quite as bad as Venice. Of course, Venice started off watery anyway. That's just a fact. 0345 6060 973. Paul in Exeter says, do you think fast fibre broadband will cure my constipated internet? Oh, no. Listeners with material so early. And the Chinese Twitter account says, I live in Barnsley now and there is no flooding here, but I will take his 500 quid and use it to buy some grass for the garden. There you go. Every little helps. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Here is a suspiciously keen caller in Enfield. Hello, John.
Oh, good evening, Nick.
John.
Well, it looks to me, with all this rain and so on, that the chicken lies that all the three governments, the principal ones, have been telling for the last 40 years is coming home to roost.
Yeah. Chickens.
And the thing is, the things they need to look at the moment is our power supplies, because we're being ripped off by thousands and millions of pounds. It's making people poor.
Well,
By power surges. The London Fire Brigade never mention a power surge. None of them do.
Yeah, you do every time you call this show, though, which is every time I'm on the air. I assume that you call other shows as well. And you keep banging on about power surges.
Exactly, because that's where the money's being stolen from. because they
The
use
money is being stolen from power surges.
It's being, yes, because of the technology behind it. It's very, very complicated.
Oh, well, then please don't attempt to explain it to me.
Vector algebra to work it out. The Institute of Electrical Engineers will tell you that.
Yeah, and they can use algebra to explain it to me. Is that what you just said?
Vector algebra.
Algebra. Mm-hmm.
No, not algebra, it's vector algebra.
Oh, yeah, it's the more complicated kind.
It is very complicated.
Yeah, it's got vectors.
And that's why they are able to take advantage of all the consumers up and down the country.
Absolutely.
They're going to reduce the cost of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is increase the excitation on the generators, and that actually calls the money back.
Yeah, well, I was thinking just the same thing the other day.
Instead of the voltage being from the start point of the generator to the consumer, it's going across the line.
Yeah, and what's this got to do with water?
415 volts, and that actually destroys everybody's equipment that's attached to that, unless they have some. I had filters on.
Yeah, you want to use one of those surge protectors, John. You can get them down the shops.
I know, but it'll only protect up to a point.
Well, it protects up to the point that you. Protects up to the point of the thing that you plug in to a surge protector
on their power line, and they haven't got them.
You should get some advice from an electrical engineer.
I am a fully qualified electrical engineer. I'm telling you how they're bamboozling the public in general.
Right, okay, well, as long as you're an expert, then I'm afraid that nobody is remotely interested in anything you have to say. But I do appreciate the call. Thanks a lot, John. No more experts, please. This is an expert-free zone. 0345 6060 973. Well, we got off to a roaring start. As in 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
I'm taking you off the air. I think you're having a breakdown.
Yes, it's the vector algebra what is doing it. It's boggling my mind. Martin tweets, they've said every home and business, he's talking about the free fast internet, fibre. He says, they've said every home and business, this is Jezza's promise, I live on a boat, and while I'd welcome the fast internet, I think the cable might prove a pain as I move about. Well, don't move about, Martin. Just be happy where you are. By the way, everybody's banging on about fibre internet. We must have fibre, and, fibre is the future. No, it isn't. Fibre's not the future. Wires are old-fashioned. You want to keep up. Get with it, Daddy-o. You want to be hip like me.
Groovy.
Wires are over. We're all about 5G now, baby. And you just wait till 6G. Oh, it will squirt information up your life like you wouldn't believe. Glenn in Tipton says, maybe we should ask Professor Brian Cox why it's raining so much. He may as well do something useful. Yeah, instead of squirting protons down a tube. What does he want to do that for? I've already brought up Brian Cox on this show. Way ahead of you, Glenn. Or can I call you Jen? Patrick in Nottingham says, is Venice even better than Folkestone? Well, the food's better in Folkestone. But only when Pick Up Pinchos is open. And I think they've shut for the winter, which seems like a tragedy to me. Surbiton, hello, Tony.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good evening.
You seem surprised.
Well, normally you don't know.
You did call me, right?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Often thingamabob.
Hey, Tony, wait, are we on speakerphone?
No.
Right, we want to get yourself a new telephone made. This is dreadful. What brand is it? No, don't tell it.
No. Okay. It most probably is because I'm a little bit deaf.
Yeah, what? It's got nothing to do with you being deaf. Me hearing it has got nothing. Your deafness does not affect me. Anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What I phoned for was this. Okay?
Yes. The following.
Basically, when I grew up, I'm 61 now.
61 years old.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
And rivers were better, local authorities were
Wait,
better. everything was
wait.
better.
Back up. Rivers were better. What, wetter?
No, I mean...
They were wetter or less wet? What do you mean?
Okay, let's say generally, local politicians were better in their areas. Everybody knew them.
Right. The rivers were better, the politicians were better.
The council were better.
You didn't groan when you sat down.
And nowadays, they are basically they earn too much money. It is now a profession.
What, being a politician?
Yes.
Well, what would you prefer?
What I would prefer is somebody that really actually wants to be in that position rather than see a good pension, good salary, everything else.
I don't see these days that people are going into politics for an easy life.
Oh, I definitely do.
Well, I definitely don't.
It's like if you go back in history, yes?
History.
People just go, where do I get the best pension?
Oh, history? Go on.
Okay. Where do you get a best pension in life? In any job?
Teacher? I don't know.
No. Possibility politician.
Well, but the life of a politician is precarious, to say the least. I mean, you get voted in or out of your job every 5 years at a maximum.
Yes, and what sort of pension do they get for that 5 years?
5 years? Well, not much, I wouldn't think.
Well, I should maybe Freedom of Information Act and see how much pension they get.
I don't think we need to do that. We just need to look it up, Tony. All you need to do is look it up.
What I'm saying is,
yes,
is basically these politicians have done nothing since 2016.
Oh, that's completely untrue.
No, they have. Well, basically they're dismal, they're inept. But what they should do is basically take any party, whether it's Liberal, Labour, Conservative, whatever.
Other parties are available.
Yeah. Should automatically, any party that turned around and said, we will basically take a 10% pay cut for what we've done in the last year and 30% decrease in our pension.
Yeah, all right. What would you have them to have done? Wow, that was excruciating sentence. I wish I could reword it, but I can't.
Well, what I would like them to do is do what they were voted to do.
Which is?
Democracy.
They were voted to do democracy?
Yes, and represent the people.
Right. Well, isn't that what they're doing?
And they haven't done that. All they're interested in, any politician today is only interested in the same as everybody else, in their job.
Well, that's completely untrue. But if that were true, if they were only interested... Wait a minute, because it's true. If they were only interested... Listen to me. Tony! If they are only interested in doing their job, then that's what you're asking for.
No, but what I'm saying to you is politics should be above that.
It should be above them doing their job.
It should be a fact they are representing the people, not for their own benefits.
Right, but they surely should accrue some benefits from doing the job, otherwise why would anybody want to do it?
Well, excuse me, if you say that...
Excuse me?
Well, if they're only £68,000 a year, yeah?
Yes.
Why do most of the MPs in this country, earn over £1 million a year?
Well, they don't, is the reason why.
Well, okay, let's say this, yeah?
Well, as we're making stuff up...
Let's say this, you become an MP on £68,000 a year.
Yes.
You then go on to giving talks, everything else. By the time in 10 years, specifically because you became an MP, you make £1 million a year.
Well, you don't.
Which other, you've got Neil Hamilton still going on about politics because he couldn't find anything else to do. because it's the only way he made money.
Yeah, well, that's his field of expertise, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what he has a
but-
history in.
Okay, so let me ask you another question.
Well, I don't believe you have asked me any questions yet, but go ahead. Ask me your first question.
Okay, so how many MPs, his wife,
6.
everybody else?
Is it 6?
I mean, if you look at the pensions these people get for what they've done,
Right, but we've already
it's
established,
ludicrous.
Tony.
There is
We have already established that you don't know how much pensions they get. So how can you come to the conclusion that it's ludicrous, being as you don't know what number is involved?
Excuse me,
Excuse me.
can you tell me? And you're a presenter, you should know these facts.
I should know these facts. Yes, ask me.
Okay, so tell me.
I bet I do know this fact.
Okay, so tell me what percentage of their salary
63.
relates to any person in politics.
63%.
63%.
Yes. Look it up.
Okay, so let's say I earn £10,000. Yeah,
All right. You earn £10,000
per year.
per year.
Okay.
Don't spend it all in the same
And
shop.
where would I get 63%
Yes.
of my salary
Right.
for the rest of my life?
Working in McDonald's?
What? I'm asked in any job.
Yeah. 63% of 10 grand,
Yeah.
which is, what, 32,000?
£10,000, 63%.
What's the 63% of £10,000? Approximately. It's about, what, 5 grand? Something like that?
No, 63% is most probably 6.2, 6.3
About 6.2. Yeah. 6.2.
Yeah.
6.2 what?
thousand.
6.2 thousand is 63%.
Oh, please, don't go me on mathematics. Let's say this. All right, 63% of 10,000 is basically
It's about 62.
63, £6,300. All right.
Not really. Well, it's probably more or less in the ballpark, yeah.
Yeah.
Let
so let me
maths
ask you this.
is not
Let me ask you this.
Maths is not an accurate science. It's more about
Well,
feelings. Go ahead.
let me ask you this question.
Another
Yeah?
question.
Okay. MP earns £68,000
Yes.
average.
Right.
Yeah?
What's 63% of 68,000?
Well, 47.2.
No. Close. No cigar.
That was off the top of my head. I haven't got
I imagine, yeah.
I haven't got a calculator in my hand.
No, well, you're supposed to know this stuff off the top of your head, Tony. It's called mental arithmetic.
Yes.
Didn't they teach
I'm
you
pretty
anything
close,
in
though.
school?
Sorry?
Well, I accept your apology. Okay, it's been entertaining, Tony, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Does Nick Ferrari get calls like that? 0345. He does, but they just don't get through to Nick Ferrari. See, that's the big difference. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 10:30.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Is he crazy or is that just the way he acts?
Who, me? Alan emails, could Glasgow give us advice on how to avoid floods? Well, they don't know how to avoid floods. They don't flood in Glasgow, despite all that rain, because it's hilly. Silly. Vincent emails, all in capital letters, I'm having a Greer time already. Greer? Does he mean drear or great? I suppose we'll never know. He says, I'm listening in South Germany. Stay young forever. Oh, all right. Sure, why not? Jeff tweets, surely the poor flooded souls can use this £500 to fund their new inflated insurance premiums, which are guaranteed. I would be amazed if any of them could get insurance anymore. Why are people building on floodplains? The whole world's gone insane. I suppose people are building on floodplains because developers can do that and then sell people houses without telling them that they're quite likely to be underwater. Simon in Catford says, I've never been to Venice, but I've heard that it smells bad because of all the water. Is that true? No, that is not true. Not in my experience anyway. But then I went in autumn, which is by far the best time to go. In summertime, what I hear is it just becomes unmanageable. There's just so many tourists there. I'd say that approximately 50% of all the photographs that are being taken on Earth at any one time are being taken in Venice. And the Venetians hate you, by the way. They hate us, tourists. Absolutely hate us. I mean, they'd miss us if we were gone, but they just can't stand us. But it is an incredible place. If you haven't been there yet, then I'd book your trip immediately, because it doesn't look like Venice is going to be around very long. What a shame. It must be the most incredible city on Earth. I can't imagine there's anywhere that's better than that. It really is astonishing. But no, it didn't smell when I was there, but it was crushed, absolutely. Let's go with who's been waiting the longest. Billericay, Terry.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Terry.
Yeah, I'd just like to like a little chat about Corbyn and Boris. Do you know what I mean?
Go on, him.
Yeah, well, my opinion is just too much. Corbyn's just too much. He's too extreme. The things he says he wants to do, and all the promises is billions he wants to borrow, whatever he wants to do, and I think we're better off a devil we know, Boris Johnson. But
we don't know him though, because he's only just become Prime Minister.
Yes, but we know his policies, don't we? We know what he's all about.
But we know Jeremy Corbyn's policies and the Lib Dems policies and the Greens policies. We know all of their policies because they're telling us.
I was going to vote Green, but now I'm voting Green. I'll be voting Lib, so I won't be voting. I would like to vote for Boris, to be honest with you. But he just seems a good old boy to me. Do you know what I mean? He's down to earth, and despite him being
Boris Johnson is down to earth. I think that's probably the only time he's ever been accused of that.
Well, in my opinion, he seems that way to me. You know, he's not very good at talking, is he? He's blustery and everything. Do you know what I mean? And he talks his way. Look, I'm the same actually. But do you know what I'm saying? But,
no, I have got no idea what you're saying. You were going to vote Green, but now you're going to go vote Lib Dem, but you want to vote Boris. You're all over the shop, Terry.
Oh, wait a minute. I said to you, I would vote Green, but now, if I vote Green, I'll be voting Lib Dem because they've pulled together, apparently, haven't they?
Oh, all pulling together as a team, right.
Yeah, well, that's it, so I won't be voting
there
Green.
Seems to be factions rising here, there and everywhere, baby. Everyone's teaming up in order to try to quash the competition. It doesn't sound like a democracy to me. It sounds like a stitch-up.
Well, it's such a mess. The whole thing's such a mess. Like Brexit seems to be such a mess.
Oh,
doesn't it?
No kidding. Like latest news.
Yeah.
Brexit's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess, isn't it? Nobody
Have
knows
you just woken up from a coma, Terry? It's been a mess for 3 years now.
Yeah, I know. I have. You have woken up from a coma. I've just been woken up to reality, a little bit of reality.
Okay, well then I have really bad news for you, by the way. If you have actually been in a coma for the last 3, 4, 5 years, then here's the bad news.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
Yeah, the leader of the free world, the man that we are going to be crawling across the carpet begging for a huge trade deal, is Donald Trump, assuming that he remains out of jail. Thanks a lot, Terry. You see, he's not alone. How do we feel about the election? Badly. They just did a poll. What Brits feel about the upcoming general election? Top, apart from none of the above, which won in a landslide, fear is the most popular emotion felt about the forthcoming election. Fear. What are you frightened about? Having to go and cast your vote in the cold? Fear? Anger. Ah, yes. That's more understandable. Anger. Confusion. 14%. Confusion. What are you confused about? Who to vote for? Enthusiasm, 7%. What on earth are you enthusiastic for? None of these make any sense. Excitement, 5%. Oh, please. Yeah, right, you're excited. And pride, 1%. I think that's the most damning statistic of all. 99% of us lack pride as a feeling about the forthcoming general election, which rather suggests that we lack pride about our own country now. It's almost as though we've had it. And don't know is 6%. And what other word defines how you feel about the upcoming election, if that doesn't cover it? Fear, anger, confusion, enthusiasm, excitement, pride, or don't know? And this was a YouGov poll. Meanwhile, whaUKthinks.org, which is a non-partisan information station about UK attitudes to the EU before and since the referendum, they put out a poll of polls, by the way, about UK attitudes to the EU before and since the referendum. A poll of polls is based on the average share for the vote for leave and remain in the 6 most recent polls of how people would vote if they were presented once again with the choice of either leaving the EU or remaining a member. And we are talking about a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
What UK Thinks says that the poll of polls, the average of the 6 most recent polls, is remain on 53, leave on 47. That's it. We're staying. Get to Jean-Claude Juncker on the phone. And this is no freak occurrence, by the way. Since March 2018, no poll, not one, has shown a majority for leaving the EU. All of them show a clear majority to remain. And a majority show that result, with Remain having a greater lead than that famous 52 to 48. Which Uncle Nige, by the way, said would be unfinished business, because he thought he was going to lose by that amount. But because he won by that amount, it is finished business. And he hopes that that's clear. Bigger than a 52 to 48 majority to Remain, every single poll since March last year. And these polls weren't undertaken by just one organisation, before you ring in and complain about bias. Institutional bias does not exist, because these polls were undertaken by YouGov, Survation, ICM, Comres, Orb, Sky Data, ICM, Delta Poll, Kantar, Panel Base, basically all of them. And all of them show the same thing. We do not want to leave the European Union. That is the actual will of the people, who are being dragged out by those who shout the loudest. Just saying. Meanwhile, we're being sued by the European Union. What? Did you hear about that? I'll come to that in a minute. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Portsmouth. Hello, Ian.
Hello there, Nick. Yeah, my word, apathy.
Ah, apathy. I don't think that's on there.
No, well, hopefully it is now. Honestly, we're in a mess. I want to remain in the EU, but I don't know who to vote for. So I'm so apathetic, I'm not going to turn out.
No, don't say that, Ian. You have to vote.
I've just said it, Nick. You heard it on the radio.
But what if it's a lovely day and you feel compelled to go out and do your civil duty?
Fantastic. I'll go and have a pint.
You can't leave it to other people. Have you met people? They're morons. Don't leave it to morons.
Oh, come off it. What have you got to vote for? I've been Tory all my life.
Yeah.
This bunch of jokers took us out of the EU. They haven't got a freaking clue what to do about it. I don't want to vote Labour because we'll be annexed to Argentina or some other communist country. I haven't got a clue what to do. If I vote Liberal Democrat, it's going to be a complete waste of my vote. I would love a Lib Dem government, but that ain't going to happen.
They could rule in a coalition like they did last time.
Yeah, and lie to the electorate. Yeah.
Well, all politicians listen, if you're prepared to believe any politician talking about all the money they're going to be hosing us down with, then prepare to be disappointed after the election, because we don't have any money. That's the truth that none of them are talking about. Our debt has continued to go up. After 10 years of austerity, we owe more than we did at the beginning.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to get into deficits and things like that.
Yeah.
What I wanted
Numbers,
to know
very, very boring.
was...
I understand.
It is. And numbers is important for Brexit. So what I want to know is who should I vote for to remain in the EU?
Well, that's fairly clear. If you want to remain in the EU, then you've got to vote for one of the parties that are considering coalescing around the Remain vote.
Okay, I was told not to say where I am, all right? So,
well, I've already said where you are.
Fine, okay, right.
They should have told me that. There's no point in telling you it and then writing it up on the screen so I blurt it out.
Okay, right.
Well,
Fine,
don't tell us then. We'll pretend that I didn't say it.
No, I mean, haven't.
Well, now he's said it. Oh, no, now we're going to have to kill you, Ian.
Right. Tell me what party I should vote for.
I've got no idea. Investigate them all thoroughly and then let your conscience be your guide. Promise me you'll do that.
Here we go, then. The Tories have something like a 17,000 majority. Right. All right, if I vote
you please do not base your future projections about votes on what has happened in the past, because it might not necessarily be the same this time around, because everything has changed. Everything has changed, Ian. But you must vote. Tell me that you're going to do it.
Nick, can you
just
tell
say
me?
Yes. Just say
no.
yes. No is not yes. This is yes.
Yes.
This is no.
No.
They're not the same. Thanks, Ian. I've got to go and pass the break. 034. You have to. Everybody must vote. It should be the law in this country, on pain of punishment. 0345 6060 973. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Yeah! Dude!
Derek in Epsom says, I went to Venice once and got Venice elbow. Is that Venice as in rhymes with tennis? Is that what you just did there? Because if that's what you did, I'm embarrassed for myself for being duped into reading it. Dowlin Hove says, calling all Dutch immigrants, could you please offer some advice on how to protect low-lying areas from flooding, because the government clearly hasn't got a Scooby. The whole of Holland is a flood zone. They seem to do all right. Jim texts, I'm at the point where I 100% believe that people would vote for a person who just punched them in the face. I know I am with that person, they'll say. The country is full of insane people. Yeah, well, you got that right. Most of them are driving hatchbacks. And David says, if the Tories and the Brexit Party are doing deals to get us out of the EU, and the Greens and the Lib Dems and Plaid are doing deals to keep us in, it really sounds like this general election is more like a referendum. So why don't we cancel the general election and have a referendum? Well, that makes perfect sense to me. It's the single-issue obsessives that are going to be deciding the forthcoming election. I mean, it seems undeniable to me. Everybody's going out to vote for... Forget all these promises of money coming from every single party. We ain't got none. We've got no money. We have zero money, minus money, to an unbelievable extent. And it hasn't got better lately. It's got worse, like considerably worse. I have detailed facts. Can you believe that?
No.
The UK debt has been about the same as a percentage of GDP since 2011. As in 10 years of austerity hasn't made the blindest bit of difference. Zero difference. In 2011, it was 80% of GDP, and now it's 85.9%. So it's actually worse. We are actually in a worse position now than we were 9 years ago. So where's all this money coming from that every single party is promising us? In fact, you'd have to go back to 1965 to have a bigger national debt as a percentage of GDP than we got now. We're in a worse state now than we have been in any year since 1965. Total public debt in monetary terms. Let's talk about the money, honey. Actual money, £1 trillion in 2010 is what we owed. total public debt, 1 trillion, which is a number that's so big, I don't even know what it is. How many zeros is on a trillion? So it was a trillion in 2010. It's 1.8 trillion today. It's almost doubled over the past 10 years, the amount of money that we owe. It's gone up every single year in that period. If you drew a diagram on a Nobbo board, it would be bottom left to top right. This is jubileedebt.org.uk, who have collated these statistics. The debt owed by the UK's private sector continues to be high and is growing. The total debt of the UK's private sector is estimated to be over 400% of GDP. What? 400% of GDP. In other words, we owe 4 times what we make in a year. And if that's you, not including mortgages, then you're in big trouble. Huge. That's more than 4 times the size of UK government debt. That's what we owe personally. We like literally and figuratively, we're in the drink. As of 2017, debt owed by individuals, also known as household debt, is increasing at the fastest rate since the build-up to the financial crisis. Hey, what could possibly go wrong? We're out there spending money like a drunken sailor on shore leave. We're flashing the credit cards, buying stuff we don't need with money we haven't got. And Jeff Bezos out of Amazon wakes up laughing. He can't believe his luck. The Office for Budget Responsibility forecasts it will continue to increase this debt level. Unsecured lending, as in consumer credit on credit cards, has been growing particularly rapidly. 10% per year. We've got no money. Where are they going to find all this money? They're going to borrow more. The UK economy as a whole has the largest deficit with the rest of the world of any rich country. We are the worst. You'd have to go to Africa to get worse than we are. The current account balance measures how much the UK, public and private, is sending to the rest of the world each year through buying imports and making debt and profit payments, and how much is earned through exports and receiving debt and profit payments. And we are the worst. We are not living within our means. And never mind about all these promises of massive spending by all of the political parties. We can't afford how we're living now. And any deficit comes from borrowing from the rest of the world or selling things to people in the UK. Or selling things that people in the UK own to foreigners. And there's a lot of that going about because we've got a giant for sale sign on the outside of the country because the pound has tanked since the referendum for you-know-what. So all the stuff that you might consider to be British is now cheap. And so people abroad are coming in and they're plunging their guts out. That's a technical term for buying a lot of stuff. In 2016, the UK had a current account deficit of 4.4% of GDP, and that is the highest of any rich country. We're doing terribly badly already, and every political party is trying to attract your eye by promises of ever more spectacular spending. Where are they going to get it from? I'm just curious. So let's just assume that it's all nonsense. That none of them have any intention of coming through with this spending, nor would they have any clue as to how to find this money in the first place, or to pay it back, or to even pay the interest back. This is already, and it's only a couple of weeks in, and it seems like forever to go. Forever to go. This is already the silliest election I've ever seen in my life. The promises that people are making are preposterous. I mean, if you go through 10 years of austerity and you end up in a worse place financially than you were at the beginning, then where's the money coming from? How are they going to afford it? I'm just curious. Let me take this opportunity to remind you about my podcast, my Super Soaraway podcast. It's called the Nick Abbot Habit. You'll find it on an internet near you, specifically our app. If you download Global Player, then you'll find that in amongst all the stations that we do, like X and Classic and Heart and Capital, and there's just way too many to mention in the brief period that I've got before the news. But it also does hundreds of podcasts in amongst Mitch, which is mine. If you go to the podcast section of Global Player, our app, which you can download from your favourite app store, then you'll find the Nick Abbot Habit in amongst it. If you just do a search on my name, then it'll come right up for you. And this week is an absolute hoot. One of the stars of it is a fellow that I've got lined up to talk to in the next hour. And he went DEFCON 1. It was hilarious. That's the most recent one. There's just dozens and dozens of them up there of my podcast. If you don't do that kind of thing by apps, then take a computer and point it at an internet near you and ask for it by name. The Nick Abbot Habit. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello.
He's a great guy. He's a good guy. He's a good person.
Thanks, Donny. You're the best. Worst president ever. Matt in Hove says, can't we swap our floodwater with Saudi Arabia in exchange for oil? That's a good idea. You can survive without oil, but you can't survive without water. Excellent suggestion there, Matt. Roger in Brentford says, the trouble with referenda is the losers ignore the results. No, the trouble with referenda is that people didn't know what they were voting for. Please don't call in and tell me you did, because you didn't. People's assertion about what it is that they voted for changes with the direction of the wind. Oh, well, we voted for a deal because we were promised a huge and tremendous deal. It was going to be the easiest deal that anybody ever did in history. Which quickly morphed into, well, we voted for no deal. Well, pick one. The losers ignore the results. That's the trouble with referenda, says Roger in Brentford. No, it's the having a referendum about such a complicated issue in the first place. You might as well ask passengers about how to fly a jet. And whatever decision they make is what we're going to do with the controls, regardless of any protestation from the pilots, because we are no longer interested in the opinion of experts. Here's Oldbury. Hello, Ranjit.
Hello, Nick. You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Okay, you as a presenter are supposed to know everything.
Everything.
Yes, everything.
I do know everything.
Okay, what's my inside leg measurement?
32.
Okay, I'll agree with you. Okay. That was simple. Now, Boris Bojo has not learned from the Orange Man. He should say fake news to everything. But he's saying it's fantasy land. Or some that word now.
Too many syllables, yeah.
Too many syllables, yeah. You should just say fake news. Okay. Now, regarding you saying voting should be compulsory.
Yes.
And if one of the options was none of the above, and if everybody voted none of the above, what would happen to the House of Commons? Would that be vacated?
Well, that's a very extreme example that you're giving there, Ranjit. It could
happen.
It could happen. Yeah, if people put that box.
Yeah, if they put that box, I reckon what we should do is fill it up with the homeless, right? And all these hangers on that.
Fill what up with the homeless? The House of Parliament. Right.
House of Parliament, yeah. And then, when you was asking, or somebody saying that, do politicians have an easy ride with their payment and that? Well, you could do your part-time job as an MP and carry on with your other businesses. That's where one of your callers was saying they earn £63,000 and then they earn $1 million.
And then they top it up to $1 million a year by making speeches.
Yeah. Well,
because that's where the money is, after dinner speaking.
After dinner speaking. I mean, if someone was going to invite me to an after dinner speech, they'd probably give me 20 pence.
Yeah, well, they'd have to pay me to go to listen to one. I mean, the only people that are making any money from after-dinner speeches are the really, really famous people. I mean, people like Bill Clinton and Tony Blair, people like that. Or Stephen Fry, big cheeses out of the media and politics. Those are the only people that are making big money. Everybody else is probably earning as much as it costs to get on the bus to go there.
Yeah, it's like, when people go... See, sometimes I don't like reverse snobbery. And I think some people come across as reverse snobs.
Well, what do you mean by that? What's reverse snobbery?
Reverse snobbery. If somebody's worked really hard and they've never trod on anybody's feet and they've made it big, why do people have to belittle them?
Well, that's a British trait, I think, disliking success.
Yeah. So, when you're going on about these tacticians, not mathematicians, tacticians, the way they, spin things, Now, everybody's going on about, I voted for this, I voted for that.
Yeah.
Then they go, Corbyn's this. Say, okay, then you explain further, elaborate. Okay? Most people that slag off Corbyn can't elaborate more than he's an IRA sympathiser or he's a terrorist sympathiser.
Whatever they read in the Daily Mail that day.
Whatever they read in the Daily Mail. Now, Uncle Nige... Right, Uncle Nige, the problem Uncle Nige has got now, he's going to be a chocolate fireguard because he's got nothing else to do, so he has to now muddy the waters whichever way he can because, like I said the other day...
Well, I don't think he's muddying anything. I think Nigel Farage has been really crystal clear on what it is that he wants.
Yeah, but then he's saying, I don't want a Brexit.
That's not true at all.
I want a no deal. No, he has... to be honest with you, it's like a weather forecast. The best thing to do is open the curtains and have a look what's outside so you know what kind of clothing to wear. And that's the decisions that these politicians make. I forgot to send in my nomination form, but one of my manifesto issues would have been every person in this country, if I got elected as Prime Minister, I was going to give them £1 million.
Well, you get my vote.
There you are. I've got one, right, straight away. But I forgot, unfortunately, to send in my nomination form.
Damn it.
So if somebody can fix my nomination form, I will give them $2 million. I'll give everybody else $1 million each. Yeah? So if somebody wants to take a bung off Ranjit in Albury, can you fix my form?
Absolutely. I'll vote. Ranjit, I promise you this, I'll vote twice.
Yeah, but there you are. So we're now making headway.
I'm spending the money in my mind as we speak. All right, thanks a lot, mate. We really are getting somewhere now, eh? 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Did you see what Donald Tusk said about us? Sharp intake of breath. Good grief. Well, I'll come to that in a minute. James in Sevenoaks says, I'm voting for the Lib Dems, but if it's raining and or windy, I'm going to have a beer and a hot bath instead. See, this is the problem. This is a big problem about having an election in December. It's cold outside. People aren't going to want to leave the house. Because they don't want to. It's raining. Like that. John in Grimsby texts, your problem is that you are a biased Ramona. Did you go to the same school as John Bercow? No, I don't. Obviously, I didn't go to the same school as John Bercow. I don't have his felicity with the language. Yvonne I'm missing him already, by the way. New guy's boring. Yvonne in Hastings says, do you think that sea levels are rising partly due to the immense amount of garbage in the rivers and oceans, as in the Archimedes principle? Well, I don't know what you're asking me for. I don't know. I'm like Donald Trump. I only know what's on the internet.
What do I know about it? All I know is what's on the internet.
Exactly. Is Donald Trump in jail yet, by the way? God, how long do we have to wait? Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yes, good evening, Nick.
Yes, Brian.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening,
England.
Brian. Lovely to speak to you again. Get on with it.
I say we do have one thing in common, Nick.
What?
We're both heathens. We're both non-believers.
In?
But by the time this Brexit's
non-believers in what?
Religion.
Oh, that.
So, but as long at the time this Brexit is taken, we'll probably be arguing about it in hell, won't we? Pitchforks at three paces or something. You know what I mean? Because it's just dragging on and on. You know, and you've been talking about.
You can't possibly say that you're bored of Brexit. It's only been 3 years, Brian. Come on, can't you get excited about Brexit?
Well, you're never going to get another referendum.
Why not?
Well, you've got no chance. I mean, the only chance Labour have of getting if people start believing the freebies are thrown about.
Well, all the parties are promising freebies. Don't you think that this... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Don't you think that this election is, in effect, a second referendum? Because that's what people are going to be voting on.
What he done the last election, Corbyn, was he threw loads of freebies about then. Theresa May never done the opposite, and he done very well in it, Corbyn. A lot of the electorate believed his freebies.
He turned around a 20 points deficit, I think, in the polls, didn't he? And he had the best day for Labour in a dog's age.
But in that election, Nick, he said £10 now at school leavers then.
Right.
He said free tuition fees.
Well, does that seem like too much? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Brian. Listen to me. Does £10 an hour seem too much?
Well, what it'll do, there won't be as many jobs if you do that.
Why?
And also,
why?
And also,
but people seem keen to increase wages for all sorts of reasons and in all sorts of ways. Because specifically, reducing immigration will increase wages. That's one of the things we keep hearing all the time. Cheap labour coming in from other countries has had a depressing effect on the wages of the poorest in the country. So that would be the poorest. So if their wages are going to go up to £10 an hour, then then they're still complaining, I don't know what people actually want anymore.
You give a school leaver £10 an hour, a school leaver. The skilled person at that shop who's worked there 5 or 10 years will want £12 an hour, £13 an hour. The manager will probably want £15 an hour. It's not going to work. You know, it snowballs, doesn't it? And then,
the scenario that you've just described doesn't sound well. The numbers that you've said aren't remotely.
For a start off, you're on about the high street, aren't you? The high street. You said it's dying. The high street.
Well,
So
when did I say that? I mean, I have said that, but not lately.
Just a second.
Go on.
So all these shops and that, school leavers go and work in the shop in the high street.
Yeah, or wherever.
You already can't afford what they're paying for now. They can't stay open.
You people like you want it both ways.
What do you mean people like me?
People like you are constantly saying that you want to reduce immigration because it has a depressing effect on the wages of the poor. And so you want the wages of the poor to... Yes, you do. You want the wages of the poor to increase. But you want the wages of the poor to increase by reducing immigration. You don't want the wages of the poor to increase just by giving them a pay rise. I don't see what the difference is.
Nick, I have never said it reduced. I've never said that personally. I'll tell you why there's low wages, shall I? Why they bring them in. They bring them in because big business want it.
Well, big business needs it, Brian.
Yeah, cheap. They want cheap labour.
Well, but the consumer wants cheap labour.
Right. I'll put this to you, right. The reason it hasn't come down on the Conservatives, I said they'd bring it down to tens of thousands. They've never ever done it. Is because they're backed by big sponsors.
No,
people put money in the party.
Well, that may or may not be true, but that's not the reason. The reason that people are coming here and should be welcomed with open arms is that they are doing jobs that we don't want to do for money that we don't want to get paid to doing those jobs, and in circumstances and conditions that we refuse to work in. That's the reason why. And this thing about reducing immigration, we're going to have a points system, and all of the parties are promising fewer people coming here. But if they don't come here, who's going to do those jobs?
If Labour get in, right? Say Labour get in, right? They said it's free for everybody, the whole world as well. They said it could be 600, 700,000
Well,
the
the Conservatives said that's
you
what
realise
Labour was saying.
For 18 years, since Blair let them in, 18, 19 years ago, there's over 6 million people come to this country extra, right? And they're not all workers. You can't believe
that is completely untrue. That is completely you can't just make assertions that people are coming here to do nothing or to avail themselves of our excellent social security. Because that's just flat out not true. There's far fewer as a percentage of immigrants who are unemployed than people who were born here. People aren't coming here to do nothing. That's just not true. They're coming here to do jobs that are available because we don't want to do them. When was the last time you went to a restaurant and you were served by an English person or a Scottish person or an Irish person? I should have said British person, for brevity. When was the last time you went to a hotel in this country and the person who cleaned the room was British? We just don't want to do those jobs. So unless people come here to do them, they won't get done. And as we depend on the services sector for something like 80% of our income, that would mean that we'd be screwed then, wouldn't it? Not to mention the outrageous dependence on foreign workers in the NHS. How long does it take to train a nurse or a doctor, by the way? I mean, what are they waiting for? Decades and decades this has been the case, that we've been short of staff on the NHS, and every year goes by and nothing happens, apart from getting nurses and doctors from other countries. If you go to the NHS and you're treated in a hospital ward, they usually have the pictures on the names of all the people that are working on that ward. And I know this from personal experience. Just recently, there's not a single English person on that board. In any of the wards that I went to visit, not a single one. So where are they all, the British ones? I mean, how long does it take to train a blooming nurse, by the way? Yeah, Brian, it's been entertaining as always, but I've got to go because I'm past the break. 0345 6060 973, Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Yvonne in Hastings says, do you think that sea levels are right? Oh, no, I've read that. Danny emails, you're coming through clear as a bell tonight. Nobody would know that you've got a hairy tongue. Yeah, I was taking pills that give you a hairy tongue. What? Can you believe that? But it's good to know I'm coming through clear as a bell. Sue texts, we had a holiday in Lake Garda 10 years ago and visited Venice underwater. Never got to ride in a gondola, and all the tables and chairs were afloat in St Mark's Square. As far as voting in the next election, I'm a Remainer, but I feel politically homeless. No way Labour. Couldn't vote Boris and Joe Swinson with their annoying hands. I'm nearly 60, but I wish I was nearly 90, says Sue. Ah. Don't say that, Sue. Ticking away the moments that make up a dull day. Fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way, yay.
Rock and roll!
Don't fritter them away. Sean texts, I get 50 megabits fibre broadband for £29 a month, but a one-day return from Woking to London Waterloo costs £20.50. No one complains about broadband, but everybody complains about rail fares. Labour are focused on the wrong issue, highlighting their incompetence, says Sean. Well, I think both are the issues that Labour are focused on, both renationalising the railways and giving everybody free fibre broadband. That, by the way, is not exclusive to the Labour Party. I think all parties are keen on improving the railways, and all parties are keen on improving broadband reach, as they should be, because we do particularly badly in that regard. I think as far as fast fibre broadband goes, I think we're about 6th in Europe, and price per megabit, I think we're about 28th out of the 29 richest countries in the world. That's abysmal. I think that's what you call rip-off Britain. Very, very expensive. And as that's how information gets sent about, and how we are shortly going to be receiving everything, really, TV, radio, internet, well, you name it, is going to be squirted up a wire, right up your house. But I don't think that wires are it. I mean, aren't we going wireless? Isn't that the future? It does seem burying wires in the ground, having to dig up roads and the incredible expense that goes with that. I mean, aren't we all about to get our information through the air? This says, my iPhone gets faster internet than my home broadband. Is that you saying that?
Yeah.
Well, how fast is your home broadband?
About 50.
There's no way your iPhone gets faster than 50 megabits a second.
It gets 90. 4G plus.
4G plus. Wow. I can only dream of being on 4G plus. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Here's a call in Chatham. Maria.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Maria.
Well...
Can you believe that about 4G plus, eh?
Well, I'm not even on the internet at home.
What?
I can't afford it. I can't afford it.
Oh, well, there's nothing really on the internet. You're not missing anything.
I go to the one in the library. The library's across the road. So
oh, the internet in the library, right.
Boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I only go when I really need to.
When you need to go, yeah, like everybody else. You need to use the facilities. That's when you pop into the library. Yeah.
Sorry. Were you going to quote Donald Tusk's comment on what he thought of us leaving the EU?
Yes, I am.
Well, I agree 100% with him.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, I'll have to talk about that after the news because I won't have time before. But, yeah, I'll talk about what Donald Tusk said.
Yeah, if he's saying that we're going to be a sort of a...
Well, don't tell us now. The spoiler alert.
I won't mention that.
All right.
And I think I will be voting Labour.
Why is that?
Well, because I think I quite like a lot of the policies I've heard about renationalising, and I know you're saying they can't fund it, but they are saying they're going to get a lot more money from taxing the rich more and these American tech companies. Mm-hmm. So it's a start.
Well, it would be a start to tax tech companies at all, because I think they skip lightly around the regulations by employing entire buildings worth of accounting geniuses to find loopholes in the laws. Yeah.
So I agree with what I heard John McDonnell say on various news bulletins today. And about broadband, you see. I mean, I won't be around. I don't think I'm going to last that long. It's going to take 10 years.
Right.
For it to be free.
Yeah, but I mean, would you actually be interested in getting the internet now? Would you want to start learning a whole new language of computers?
Well, I can use a computer. I had to use one when I was working.
Like you said. All right.
Yeah. No, I'm paying a fortune to Sky as it is just for the television and the phone. So if I put the internet on top of it, it was just a step too far for me.
Yeah, that would be too much information. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's too much money.
Yes. Well, information is nothing's free, Maria, unless it is, in which case I take it back.
Well, perhaps they have an interest in keeping us ignorant.
Oh, they absolutely do. Yes, both on this side of the Atlantic and on the other side.
I love the poorly educated.
Yes. Yeah. It's a group that keeps giving and giving. All right, thanks a lot, Maria.
Right.
Ta-da, 0345 6060 973. A popular phone provider describes 4G Plus as another name for LTE-A, LTE Advanced, or 4.5G, and it's basically a faster version of 4G. Yeah, I could have figured that out. It's Plus. It works through carrier aggregation. Oh, well, that's exactly what I expected. Mm-hmm. What's that then? It allows 4G phones to receive data from multiple bands in the 4G spectrum. Wow, that is interesting, isn't it? And then the explanation goes on and on and on and on.
Boring!
JD in Scotland says, I will only vote for a political party once Noel Edmonds is in charge. His approach to a deal or no deal will see us through this difficult time. Is that show still on television? I cannot believe that was ever on television. I mean, can you imagine the meeting that they must have taken to propose that programme? Well, we've got a bloke and he's got some boxes, and some contestants have to not answer questions, they just have to guess which box has got the most money in, and that's it. I mean, in any sensible universe, you get shown the door with great vengeance. But in this demented world, it runs for years. And people watch it. Deal or no deal has ended, comes this information. Well, thank goodness for that. It's ended only to be resurrected when Keith Lemon decides that he wants to do it. Or somebody like that. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Hang about, Nick. Listen. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
The Chinese Twitter account claims that home internet is 551 megabits per second. So that's 55 gigaparts an hour. And 5G is 900 megabits per second. 5G is cheaper than landline internet, says that person. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me to be doing wires. Aren't wires history? The future is wireless, surely. I mean, you don't have to dig up a road for wireless, but wires are just a pain. Surely the future is wireless. And Doc tweets, when are you going to sort out the dueling banjos deliverance as a soundbite? Oh, I forgot. Damn it! Because, I'm busy with things. Shoreditch, hello, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
An ecstasy of fumbling. Yes, Nick.
Hi. Just wanted to say, great, big fan of your show. I've been listening since I was around 12 years old. So,
thanks.
Yes, no worries. I wanted to discuss what the impact of all these, elections and Brexit is going to have on the future the future voters. Because I'm quite young, but I've already had 3 general elections since I started.
Well, you've had it up to here.
Exactly, yeah. So it's quite amazing. There's going to be people who sort of are going to see Brexit and this sort of political climate at the moment as a sort of normal, maybe.
Well, yes. Did you vote in the last one?
Yes, I voted in all 3 since 2015. Yeah.
And is that common? All 3. Is that common among your peer group?
It depends. I have a few friends who avidly don't vote.
Avidly don't vote.
Avidly, yes, exactly, yeah. And then obviously, like myself, people who are very much invested in it.
And so what are the issues that most concern you this time round?
Well, I think it's just about, obviously there's a huge divide, and I think instead of, obviously, when the politicians campaign, they're always saying, the other party's bad and all that, and that makes sense. That's sort of half their job. However, I think in this system, when we've got, when Brexit was so divided, a lot of people are at each other's throats, and I really feel that's, I don't think there's really a lot that you can do to change that. But I just feel that now more than ever, we need more politicians saying that we, promoting sticking together and unity in this time.
What's your expectation of that happening?
Absolutely not at all.
Yeah, 0. It's about 0. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're screwed then.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's it, yeah.
So it's old people that have screwed up the world in many, many various ways for you young'uns to take over. Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you.
The other thing was obviously the news is always portraying, from what I see, being the fault of the nation and all that. But I feel like what's going to happen in the future when the youngsters are older, and what the youngsters going to be like in 20, 30 years.
Probably, almost certainly exactly like oldsters now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So there's something to look forward to, Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, no problem. You'll be increasingly grumpy, and your waistline will expand beyond anything that you conceived to be possible. You'll get huge. That is almost a certainty. Francis in Winchester emails, I think when you tell us that the government has no money, you should mention the fact that if we leave the EU, we will have the huge amount of money we are giving them every month. Not sure why you are not saying this, says Francis in Winchester. Well, I'm not saying it, Francis, because it's not true. How many times do you have to say the same blooming thing over and over and over? If you pay money into a club, let's say it's £1,000 a minute, a week, £1,000, £100 a week. If you pay £100 a week to be a part of a club, but being a part of that club makes you £200 a week, then that would be a good deal, right? Unless you just concentrate on the £100 that you give them and ignore the £200 that you get back. It's like saying when you go into a clothes shop and you give them £50 for a shirt and walk out with said shirt, you don't complain that you just went into that shop and you came out £50 lighter without acknowledging the fact that you came out with a shirt. But it's pointless saying it because no one's listening. Everybody's on send now. No one's on receive. Julian emails, here in Denmark, I get 550 megabit upload and 550 megabit download for 179 kroner a month, which is their money. Kroner, I think that's chickens? 179 chickens a month. He says the infrastructure is locally, publicly owned and connections up to 5 megabits are free. My half a gig connection equates to about an hour and a quarter of minimum wage. Half a gig? Over what period of time? A month? An hour and a quarter. He says it's unmetered and all of our TV is carried over the internet. Having essential services owned by a for-profit organisation is madness and immoral, says Julian, one of the perfect 6-foot blonde people in Denmark. Wherever that is. Let's have Canuck, Mel.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I was going to go on about this broadband thing. There is no way on God's green planet should we give broadband to the frigging Labour Party to control. Every time someone puts a bad picture of Corbyn on there, on Facebook, he'll be cutting it off.
I don't think mass censorship is part of their plan. They're not interested in censoring the internet, or at least that's not their specific aim.
Well, no, that's what they say.
Plus, be fair, Jeremy Corbyn doesn't take a good picture. Every picture would have to be taken off the internet.
I think China said that.
I mean, he may have other qualities, but being a top male model is not among them.
It's like I said, I think China said that when they first had broadband. They weren't going to control it.
Well, they wanted to take pictures of Jeremy Corbyn off the internet. China did. Yeah, well, I can understand that.
So Russia does, don't they? They control broadband. So,
well, all of these governments that say that they can control the information, nobody's remotely interested in anything I'm saying. All of these countries that say that they can control the internet and they can shut the internet down. Have they not heard of VPN, which stands for Visual Points of Nodes, which is technical speak for you can get around the rules and regulations as long as you have a basic knowledge of stuff. I'm speaking in technical terms now, Mel. You probably don't understand.
You're right. I mean, it is it's a bit late, and I am 69.
69 years old. You made it.
Yeah. 70 is a big one. I'll definitely phone you when I'm 70.
Yeah, OK, well, I'll look forward to that in a couple of years' time. Thanks a lot, Mel. 0345 6060 973. VPN equals visual personal nodes. I think you'll find that is correct. Osset, Michael.
Yes.
Michael.
Good evening. I like your style, Dick.
Thanks, Michael.
Dick, is it? Yeah. All this internet to carry on, they're going to give us for free, which personally I believe is a bit of a bloody joke. But anyways, I've managed without it. I tried it a couple of years when I lived in North Yorkshire for a while.
Oh, yes.
And it was absolutely hopeless.
No, wait a minute. It was hopeless, or you were hopeless at it?
It was hopeless.
Oh, the internet was hopeless, right?
Yeah.
What? Nothing on it?
Well, bits and pieces, but everybody used to complain about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it possibly, so I just hatched it after a couple of years.
Right.
I was never.
Well, what were you doing on the internet? What did you find that was not? I mean, if it was no good for you, what were you actually doing on it?
Well, eBay was interesting. YouTube, but
what was interesting?
eBay.
eBay. Oh, eBay. Right, selling and buying. Mm-hmm. Import, export. I understand.
That sort of thing. Well, locally.
Just right into that search bar.
Want to score some pot?
Yeah, I get it.
Well, I didn't think it was necessary. I'm 68.
68 is everybody wants to tell me how old they are. Young people, by and large, don't. I think after a certain age, it's almost the first thing you say to every complete stranger that you meet. I'm 68. As though you want a round of applause for having lived so long. No.
Just probably got a bit of edge on people that didn't see what life was like in 70s and 60s.
Oh, yeah, the good old days when when the lights used to go out at 4.
Splendid. I've got a question for you, actually. I've been a bit,
another query.
I've been a bit puzzled.
Go on.
When we borrow all this money...
Yes. Who do we borrow it from?
Yeah.
Well, weirdly, sit down, Michael, and grip onto something firm, because you might not like this. We borrow it from ourselves.
Right.
We borrow it from ourselves. We borrow it from central banks, which print money, which is, in essence, borrowing it from ourselves. We borrow it from institutions like pension funds and private banks. And so on
all these institutions are capitalist institutions, then?
Well, the ones that aren't are, yes. Or the ones that are...
They've got to be admirable. They seem to be the only ones with any brass. So the point is, when they run out of brass, what the hell's we going to do over there?
Well, we'll have to go back to bartering sheep.
Ah, good.
You want to round some up, Michael?
Hi.
All right, thanks a lot, mate. You want to get your outdoor shoes on, get your flat hat out, and never go up on Ilkley Moor bar tat. But you know that, of course. 0345 6060 90. Hey, I still haven't got to what Donald Tusk said. It's an outrage. I'll get into that next. 0345 6060 973. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC. Let me just quickly remind you about my podcast. It's called The Nick Abbot Habit. It is available on an internet near you. It's the half-hour best of this show. Some of my favourite callers. This week's episode, I think, is particularly funny. And you'll find it under the podcast section of our app, which is Global Player, which you can download from our app store. Also, it's just available on many sites that do podcasts. Just do an internet search on The Nick Abbot Habit.
This is LBC. Nick Abbot on LBC.
What's he got to be depressed about?
Oh, blimey, where do I even start? Steve says, you say the future is being wireless, but we don't know yet how all these radio waves are affecting our brains. I think we do. I think the jury is in. Badly, I think. Shane in York says, how long do you keep the podcasts for, as I'm waiting for Labour to install my broadband? He's waiting for Labour to install his broadband. We keep them forever. That's the nature of the internet. All of your mistakes are there forever. Lewisham. Hello, Barry.
Hello there. Good.
Hello there.
Hi there. Hi there.
Hello there.
This Labour plan, I personally think is visionary. All right. Let me take you on a bit of history. We all hate history. History is boring. All right. I understand. Right. All the roads in this country used to be private. Many of the roads used to be private. Right. The bridges used to be private as well. Right. They were privately owned. And what used to happen is you have to pay a toll to go over the bridge or the road. Yeah.
Right.
The government then nationalised the road system. Yeah. And the bridges. They nationalised the whole lot. Right. And basically bought them off the private providers. And that enabled growth. Yeah. So once you provide the platform, then you can then put houses and shops and so on and so forth. That's what the whole purpose of the plan was. Now, I remember back in 2009, Barack Obama and Gordon Brown at the time. So they decided that they were going to embark on capital investment programs. All right. There was an election. Gordon Brown got kicked out. Barack Obama continued with the capital investment.
Barack Obama?
He continued with the capital investment in America.
Oh, in America.
And, in America. And David Cameron came in and convinced everyone we deserve nothing and that we must stop the Occupy movement and that we must stop bashing the bankers and we must have austerity instead. Austerity was never going to be the answer to paying back debt because just saving money alone doesn't make you money. Right? What you had to do was do capital investment. That creates growth.
But in his defence, we know now that it didn't work, but that's 10 years later. But embarking on that policy of spending less in order to save more. Well, he was probably told all sorts of things at the time.
I remember the conversations, and they were adamant.
Well, some people were, and other people were adamant that he was doing the right thing.
Wrong. And they were wrong.
Okay, well, now we know that 10 years later.
No, but history has already shown that because that's happened. This has happened previously. It's not the first time this has happened. Yeah, this has happened many times in history, and austerity has never been the result, the answer.
But think about it. I know that the economy is a very complicated thing, and you can't relate it to your personal individual experience.
The worst thing you can do is to compare it to your personal experience.
I'm going to compare it to my personal experience now.
Let's do that.
If you owe a lot of money and you stop spending so much money, then you'll probably be in a better financial position a few years down the line. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Marginally. However, if you borrow some money to set up a business, make lots of money, and then you can.
Well, if you make lots of money, but if you borrow a lot of money and set up a business and that business fails, then you're in a much worse position than you were before.
However, capital investment programs are very unlikely to fail because they're by dint of what they're investing in the country. So what they're doing is they're generating the growth in the country itself. That was told to them many years ago. I'm not an economist. I've said that many times. I'm not an economist. I've just listened. I've just listened to what's happened and just listened to the arguments and just listened to it fairly and not been tribal Tory. And what has happened is that people are very confused at which way to vote now because they're unprepared to accept that they've been lied to and have been accepting lies for 9 years. Yeah, they've chosen to accept the lies. Yes, we need to have austerity. We need to do this. We need to do that. And ultimately, what it's done is it's broken the high street. It's broken the economy.
Well, no, that's not entirely true. It's not the government's fault that the high street is broken. You'd have to say that it's the internet, online giants that have broken the internet, and the consumer, of course, because the consumer has chosen not to go to the shops in the high street.
Yeah, they can't.
So it's our. Well, no, the reason that we can't is because of the choice that we made in the first place. It's our fault, Barry. The death of the high street is not the government's fault. It's our fault.
Let's not get stuck on the death of the high street alone. I know that the high street is dying and action needs to be taken. However, they've had 9 years to do something about the decline, and they've refused to. They've underinvested as much as humanly possible, And what that has done is it's grown the debt. Now, in America, they knew the debt was going to grow, so they allowed the debt to grow and did the capital investment. They are now forward.
It's also not. Well, that's not entirely true, and it's also not true that the government over the last 10 years has not invested anything. I mean, look at the vast amount of money that they've spent on improving the transport infrastructure in London alone. Never mind about HS2.
Spending money and spending money well are two different things.
Well, I think the transport infrastructure in London has been improved beyond recognition over the last 10 years. That's absolutely true. And it's about to get much better because of all the hundreds of billions of pounds, or however much it costs. I don't know off the top of my head. It'll probably be getting on for 100 billion with the Crossrail. I mean, that's going to really make a difference.
I've seen a Crossrail is a very interesting example because, again, when it comes down to investing, what they're not doing is investing for the people of London. They're investing for a different crowd. So all of the houses that are springing up along the side of Crossrail, they are displacing all of the regular Londoners.
That's not true either. Londoners are being forced to move further and further away because of the price of property, which is also not the fault of the government. So it is a benefit to Londoners to give people the opportunity to live further away where houses are cheaper, but also to be able to get into London more quickly.
Yeah, who cleans the school?
Pardon?
Who cleans the school? Who cleans the school? It's not a rich person that cleans the school. The person that cleans the school has to live in close proximity. The person who cleans the street has to live in close proximity. They can't do the travelling. They can't do the commute. It's not possible. It's financially non-viable.
Right.
Yeah. So these are things. This is why London has to be a mixed community. It has to have poor and rich living.
But it does.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. It needs to. But the development that is occurring is displacing people and forcing them outside because the costs are rising. So I understand. And what we need, actually...
But if you have a finite resource, then of course the price of it is going to go up.
Yeah, and what we need is government action to do something about these things.
Right. So what you're talking about is social housing.
Well, yeah, there's a big mixture. There's a lot in there, and it all comes down to investments: social housing investment, infrastructure investment, hospital investment, schools investment, transport investment.
Okay,
it's all necessary.
So in short, we know what you're for. So who are you going to vote for?
Oh, it's got to be Labour. It's the only sensible option. It really is. And even if you're talking about Brexit, we know where that stands. You cannot just cancel it because you're going to make Nigel Farage lose his mind, and then we're going to hear him for the rest of our lives.
Nigel Farage is running the country. It's come down to regardless of the actual will of the people, we're being led by whoever shouts the loudest. Not that I'm saying that Nigel Farage shouts loudly, but, people of that ilk.
Yes, because the Tories allowed the right wing to shout the loudest. They allowed that argument to be all we cared about for a number of years.
Well, I'm not sure that that's true either. The Conservatives started all this with the idea that we weren't going to vote out. So you could hardly say that it was their plan all along for us to go out. That's just absolutely not true.
Yeah, they were arrogant. They didn't want to leave. They were always arrogant. They thought they were in control.
You could say that about all of the political parties. Apart from Nigel's.
That's one. Well, look at how the Tories are floundering now. They haven't got a clue what to do.
Floundering is hardly the word you would describe them. Describe their present situation. They're leading in the polls by a considerable margin. If that's floundering, then I'd like to be floundering. I could only dream of being such a flounderer. Thanks, Barry. Gotta go.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Is he crazy or is that just the way he acts?
I am not one of your fans!
I'm going to talk about what Donald Tusk said in just a minute. But first, Kay emails, I can't afford buses to get to the high street and back. I have no choice but to use online services with delivery. Rubbish. It costs more to deliver something than it does to take the bus there and back. It must do. Just laziness, Kay. Talking rubbish, man. Or woman. Paul in Dagenham says, although Gibraltar is not part of the UK, it did participate in the referendum and the result of the vote was 96% to remain in the EU. As they had no direct say in the Brexit negotiations, I imagine they're feeling somewhat miffed at the prospect of the UK leaving. People and goods moving over the border with Spain will have to be subject to more stringent checks. I think that it's inevitable after Brexit that Spain will reassert claims over sovereignty. Well, they've done that already, haven't they? How is it ours? You could spit that far from Spain to Gibraltar. How is it ours, by the way? Neath. Kevin.
Good evening, Nick.
Kevin.
Hello. I rang up last night, actually, to address a point that you've been bringing up all night. Unfortunately, I was timed out, so I didn't get to speak about it.
Right.
But it was referenced this rolling out of the broadband.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked if they could possibly get someone on who could explain the difference between broadband and 5G, because I don't know.
5G is over the air, and broadband is through a wire.
Yeah, I understand that, but can you deliver the same? Do you require a different service to transmit the information? Is it different in any way?
Yes, it's through a wire.
Yeah,
you
I
get
understand
5G with data over your phone or whatever, or your whatever device it is you're using, and fibre is through a wire that comes out your wall.
Right, because obviously I was thinking about it, and pretty much I thought along the same lines as you did, but honestly I don't know, and I'll put my hands up to that, okay? But I was thinking, is the government going to spend, I think, roughly, people agree, around about 50 billion on an obsolete technology?
It seems patently obvious to me that wires of any kind will, in 20 years' time, be thought of in the same way as steam power is thought of now. It just seems to be something that's going to go, because they're just so annoying, wires.
Right, I'm with you. Right, I'm with you on that, and I think that wires will be a thing of the past, and it's all going to be this wireless connections.
It has to be. I mean,
so
that's the future, baby.
Why are they trying to offer us something that is going to be obsolete? How easily are the British public bought? Don't they think about these things? About, okay, fine, we'll all have it by 2030, but it's going to be obsolete by 2031.
Well, you'd have to say that there's so much that we are building that will be obsolete in a relatively short period of time because we're in between technologies. You could say the same about nuclear power stations. But, I mean, the future has to be solar or wind or wave power or one of these things. It's just that we have to get the technology to the point where it becomes efficient. I mean, wind power now is less expensive per megawatt hour or whatever the thing that is that they measure these things on than coal powered, which is almost non-existent now, and I think nuclear powered. Wind is the cheapest way of producing electricity in this country at the moment, and it becomes more efficient all the time. And it's the same with building more roads and building more rail. I mean, these things have already been not made redundant, but better solutions have been provided.
And this is my point. More solutions. What are they going to do in 20 years' time? Are they going to keep the new technology private or in public hands? Nobody's really making any sense on this. And imagine if you were the CEO of one of these companies that's providing the internet service, broadband. The government's going to buy that service off from you, which is what they're saying, under negotiation. I mean, I'd be rubbing my hands if I was a CEO. I'd be thinking, this is free money. This is money for nothing.
Well, I'm not sure they're very happy about it, but
they've already got the new technology in the research and development departments. I've seen it when I worked for Sony. They had TVs down there that they had no intention of releasing for the next 10, 15 years.
Well, that's not true.
You know, they did. I used to work down there.
They've got TVs that they're not going to release for 10 years. Well, what do these TVs do?
It's the next generation. This was 10 years ago. I mean, I saw smart TVs at Sony being developed before they were ever on the market. A long time before they were on the market.
Yeah, well, every piece of technology that is released is always whatever the word is always improved in a short period of time. But the uptake is slow because there's no software. We got the hardware for 8K TVs, which is double the Have you ever seen an 8K TV? It is really quite astonishing. I felt seasick watching it because no, I really did, because they're vast and the clarity of picture is such that you actually feel like you're personally moving with the image. I had to look away because I did start to feel seasick.
That's quite impressive, though.
But the problem with 8K TVs, apart from the cost of them, is that there's nothing to play on them. I mean, there's hardly anything to play on 4K TVs. So these things do take time to, it's the software that's the problem. People can invent a better TV, but until there's something to watch on it, there's no point in buying
There is another simple economic reason why they hold on to this technology. That they have to shift X number of units of today's technology to cover the R&D and everything else. So that they do hold these things back.
I'm not sure that's true.
It happens. It happens. It doesn't.
But anyway, what we're agreed on is the possibility, it seems a certainty to me, is that wires are a thing that will shortly be of the past.
I agree with you. And this is why I think the whole thing is just a smokescreen. It's a diversion.
Well, it's where, like I said, we're in an intermediate period. We haven't got to the point when we can ditch our wires, and so we're going to have to catch up to where we should be before it is all completely changed. But that's the same with everything. Don't wait until the final piece of technology has been invented, because that will never happen. There will always be improvements and new inventions. I mean, for a while there, I thought, well, you know what, I'm not going to buy a new phone until I get a personal guarantee from Sony and Samsung that they're not going to invent a better one. But that'll never happen. It'll always be better and newer and shinier and smaller or larger, depending. Kevin, I've got to go. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Now then, right, Donald Tusk. You remember the president of the European Council, Donald Tusk, don't you? Bill! Yes, that's him. Well, he entirely, the democratically elected president of the European Council is leaving his job because his maximum 2 terms of 5 years in total are up, and he's chucking a verbal hand grenade at us before he goes. He said Brexit was the end of the British Empire. What? He said that out loud. Which is news to us Brits, because we still believe that we have a mighty British Empire that includes many countries that are big and important. I mean, we've got the flag and the snappy tune. I bet we could call Akureyri and Dekelia part of the empire, wherever they are. And what about Anguilla? I mean, I know it sounds like a medical problem, but it's an actual country, I think. And how about the British Antarctic Territory? That's got the word British in its title. That must be ours. Although if they said that it wasn't, I bet we'd only have to kill a few penguins to take it back. 50 million penguins dead tops. The outgoing, democratically appointed President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, says, don't give up your dreams of remaining in the democratically run European Union. And as that is, as I've mentioned, the actual will of the people, and not just a minority of the people that shout the loudest and have a habit of saying 17.4 a lot, as though that one crooked vote should shape the future of the nation for the benefit of the hedge funds that bankrolled it forever. So Donald Tusk said that Brexit's going to be the end of the British Empire, but he wasn't through. He also said that our leaving the EU would consign us to becoming a second-rate nation. And you know what? He may have a point. Because it doesn't matter who you vote for in the upcoming election, we look likely to have a second-rate Prime Minister. Donald Tusk said the only way that the UK could be a global player was within the EU. But he didn't count on us getting a huge and tremendous, nobody ever saw such a huge deal, believe me, with the soon-to-be-in-jail, wholly improper President of the United States of America. And I do mean improper.
Everything that I've done is 100% proper. That's what I do, is I do things proper.
He lied. So we're depending on him for a trade deal to get us out of the mire into which we have cast ourselves. The only way for the UK to be a global player was within the EU, said Donald Tusk. And Brexiteers makes them sound like musketeers, makes them sound heroic. So it's got to be Brexiters or Brexit-ums. Brexit-ums were delighted at Donald Tusk's friendly warnings. They appreciated it. I'm kidding, they went a shade that not even Dulux would recognise. They said he was like a jilted lover and said it demonstrated the importance of getting out of the EU toot sweet. Except they didn't put it like that with a filthy foreign surrender words. Donald Tusk said the UK election takes place in 1 month. Can things still be turned around? He said philosopher Hannah Arendt taught that things become irreversible only when people start to think so. So the only words that come to mind today are simply, don't give up, he said. In this match, we've had added time. We're already in extra time. Perhaps it will even go to penalties. Oh, penalties. He mentioned penalties. Right, that's it. It's war. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC. Nick Abbot on LBC.
Here are the studio calls flashing up on the indicator.
Yes, this one's in Wembley Park. Hello, Christoph.
Oh, hello, Nick. Lovely surprise to speak to you again.
Christoph.
Yeah, I just need to say, it's a long time since I called to say what I want to say, so I've forgotten it, what it was to say. But
you've been waiting that long, you forgot why you called.
Well, but the one thing I want to say is Ranjit. Isn't he a star?
The fellow that was on my podcast this week.
So another chance to advertise your podcast. Well, he's not only on your podcast. I think he seems to be all over LBC.
Oh yeah, he's like all over is like white on rice.
Rice?
Yeah, white on rice. You know what? You know rice?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's got white all over it.
Only the refined stuff. Yeah.
Well, the white ones, yes. Yeah, don't pick holes in my argument. White is all over rice.
Nick, I think the point I wanted to make, and I've got so many points. Well,
yeah. Are any of them rice related?
No.
Oh, carry on.
Thank you. I thought you were going to cut me off. I've always enjoyed listening to your show.
But?
No, well, there was a but once. But
yes.
There isn't a but anymore.
A huge, giant, wobbling butt.
No. I think in the 2015, 16, 17, I used to listen to your show, and I used to get irritated by the... I used to be quite irritated by the sort of jibes you made.
Jibes?
Yeah. Don't you ever make jibes?
No, this is a very serious programme. I don't know which show you're listening to.
Okay, I'll give up. Not going to listen to your show anymore. No. But the
jibes? What jibes? Jibes about whom?
You are. I enjoy all the points you make.
But
some of them are jibes.
Well, which jibes are exercising you most, Christoph?
Well, I can't remember because they were a long time ago.
Right, but what was the target of my jibing?
No, the jibes you used to make used to irritate me, and they used to be about the Tories.
Ah, right.
And I used to feel irritated about things you said because I thought they were unjustified.
Right.
Now, every time you make
a jibe,
a point, an opinion, about the Conservative Party, I agree with you, and I just wondered which of us has changed. Is it you that's changed? In other words, your jibes are now more in tune with what I think.
Yeah.
Or is it the Conservative Party that's changed? In other words,
do they deserve the jibing?
Yeah. Do they deserve it? Or is it me that's changed?
Right. Well, it would be a pretty rum state of affairs if you went years without changing your opinions. I mean, everybody should change their opinions about everything all the time because things are in constant flux. They're always changing. So should your opinions be.
Have your opinions changed, Nick?
About what?
What about jiving the Tories?
No, on that I am still absolutely certain that it is the right thing to do, alongside jibing the Labour Party and the Lib Dems and the Greenies and the Nigel Party.
It's not a party, isn't it? It's a company.
No, I'm not sure that's true.
Actually, it's got an unelected leader. It's got an unelected leader.
Well, yes, but if he had an election, he would win it in a landslide, so don't you worry about that.
Well, oh, yeah, well, who would the electorate be?
It's his own party. Of course he's the leader.
Yeah. Actually, I'd love to set one up myself.
Why not?
Well, would you join? Would you, sponsor me if I did?
Do you have any policies of any kind?
You
can say no.
Well, I don't know. If
just say no.
Okay, I'll just say no, just to please you.
Well, then
okay,
I'm in. Absolutely. Where do I sign?
The thing is, you're right, and I think people should change their mind. Should feel able to change their mind, and even people in the Conservative Party, some of whom have left it, changed their mind, and yet, no one has been given the opportunity to express whether they've had a mind change.
Right, we're talking about the EU.
Well, no, I've just approached it.
Right, the referendum. Yes.
Obliquely.
Yeah, well, they actually have been given the opportunity to show that they've changed their mind in poll after poll after poll. There's a poll taken about once a week, and almost never since the referendum itself, and not one single time since March last year, has the poll recreated the result of the referendum itself, implying to me, and I said this at the time, I knew that Leave would win because people who were single-issue obsessives were absolutely going to go out and vote, 100% of them. Those that were dead would be dragged by their relatives to the polling booth to still register their opinion. And people who were just fine with the status quo weren't as exercised. They weren't going to, in the same percentage, going to go to the polling booth and register their opinion. Because if you're fine with how things are, then you're not as determined to go out and vote as people who want to change things. So I knew that Leave would win because their troops were more obsessed than those who wanted to stay. And so it has proved in poll after poll after poll ever since.
The thing is, Nick, I don't know if you still have me on the radio. Change can be for the better or it can be for the worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't really think if we do leave the EU, and I think that will put the EU into quite a lot of turmoil.
Yeah,
wow. The people who want us to leave the EU, of course, don't just want us to leave the EU. They want the EU to break up.
Are you talking about Vladimir Putin? Because he seems to be suspiciously behind a lot of what is happening in the world. Donald Trump.
Yeah, I would include
referendum.
him. Yeah, I would include him in the people who want the EU to.
Of course, we don't know his precise or our beliefs of his precise involvement because that is a report that is being withheld.
Well, I think one of the people who had the biggest smile on their face on the June the 24th, 2016, would have been Mr. Putin. I'm talking about smiles now. Nigel didn't smile. He was indefatigable. He was great. That wasn't a smile. That wasn't a smile speech he gave. Michael Gove, who was a Leave campaigner, didn't smile. He was shocked.
Yeah, there was no
Boris
precious little
Johnson.
smiling in this country. Everybody had a look of stunned amazement on their faces.
Smiling.
Vladimir Putin woke up
grinning.
laughing that day.
Only person grinning, Cheshire Cat grin.
Yeah.
From sideburn to sideburn.
Vlad the Insaner.
Exactly.
Hey, Christoph, I've got to go, but thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. This information just in. The Brexit Party is indeed structured as a company and registered on Companies House, at Companies House. According to Wired magazine, Nigel Farage owns 60% of it and has himself referred to it as a company. Elijah from Camberwell texts, wireless tech emit a concentration of waves that can be harmful to biological entities. Broadband forever, baby. I just don't believe that that's going to happen. I mean, people have been saying stuff like that about every piece of technology that comes along. I'm sure people used to say that about the radio. Waves coming through the air and going through your body to come out of a transistor. How can that possibly be good for you? Well, it doesn't sound like it would be good. TV, the same. How does the wave get from where it comes from to your aerial? I mean, we're being bathed in this stuff all the time. And I'm sure with each advancement in the technology, people have called the same warning. Microwave ovens, all of it. And the same thing is being said about 5G, but it just doesn't seem logical to me that putting wires in the ground is the future. I mean, it just costs so much. If you've ever had the broadband fibres put up your road, they dig the whole thing up for what seems like months. At incredible cost. And if you're living out in the sticks somewhere, I mean, how are you going to get a wire all the way out to there without spending tens of thousands of pounds? Whereas if you just received it from the air, I mean, doesn't that seem like the logical thing to do? I mean, okay, so what? We all die. At least we'll get internet quick. Lenny says there was a time when you shopped in the high street and went home for a coffee. Now we go to the high street for a coffee and go home to do our shopping. Yeah, the whole world's gone insane. And Jack says, I have unlimited on my phone, so do my kids, and the wife just link up on my phone, so we all use my hotspot, says Jack. That's a little bit too much information, Jack.
Disgusting.
He says, I want to vote Labour, but that decision just seems desperate for votes. That doesn't make sense. I want to vote Labour, but that decision just seems desperate for votes. That makes no sense. Would you like to rearrange those words to make a sentence that actually makes sense?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Just asking. It's always polite to ask.
Be polite.
And Ben says, if Labour are planning to give everyone free broadband, then obviously everyone will require a computer. Are Labour going to supply those too? Also, who pays for the repairs when the computer goes wrong? There are obviously people who wouldn't be able to afford repairs. Also, can you imagine having to call a government department when your broadband isn't working? Well, Ben, the roads are a public utility, but the government doesn't give you a free car. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbot.
I feel lightheaded. That's what I feel.
I think it's 5G. Making me a bit lightheaded, and not in a good way. Bobo text, do you replay any of your shows on the internet? If so, what are they called? They're called the Nick Abbot Show. If you download the app Global Player from your favourite app store, then you'll find that this show is archived on the internet with the ads taken out. And also the best of that I create with my own sticky fingers. It's a half-an-hour best of, some of my favourite calls, and that's called the Nick Abbot Habit. It's available on the Global Player app, but it is also available on an internet near you. If you just look at any of the podcast sites, just do a search on Nick Abbot Habit, and it will become clear. let's have a call in Pimlico. Nope, there it is. Michael.
Is it morning or is it evening?
Michael,
yes. Yes, where to begin? I've been listening to your show on the radio. I won't finish that sentence.
That is the end of that sentence. You've been listening to this show on the radio. Full
Is right,
stop.
fair enough. Okay. I've been listening to your show on the radio.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm old enough to remember when the Tory party, Conservative Party, argued against the introduction of the minimum wage. Do you remember that?
I remember all sorts of things. Don't you worry about that, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, what was my vision for it? The other point I wanted to make, I've just heard the news about the fire in Manchester that was had cladding, in the building that had cladding on it.
Well,
now,
I don't know that the building actually has any cladding on it. I'm not
was-
familiar with the building. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, fair enough. But there needs to be,
It needs to be an investigation. There will be. Don't worry.
And a demonstration.
Well, I've got no idea whether there'll be a demonstration or not. But there will be an investigation, so we can't which will allow the government of the day to say we can't talk about that because we don't want to prejudge the investigation.
Oh, look, there's some long grass. Let's cook a ball into it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's very bad news.
Well, any building going up in flames is very bad news.
I hope
All
that
news is
to-
bad news, Michael. That's the nature of news.
Yes, apparently they did try an experiment with a good newspaper, but it didn't. It didn't work. I shouldn't laugh. I mean, I feel sorry for.
Yeah, somebody did. That's right. Somebody did try to start a newspaper that was full of good news. Was anybody interested?
No.
You bet they weren't.
No. Yeah, another thing I was going to say. You're actually a hard habit to break.
Oh.
But it's a good thing, because you don't often get much sanity on this radio station. There's only two or three of you that actually
Me and
talk
James
sense.
O'Brien. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's exactly. And Sheila Fogarty's okay. She's all right.
Of course.
She's quite balanced.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love your show, mate.
All right, thanks a lot, Michael. 0345 6060 973. On the other hand, Daniel in Langdon Park texts, "You are a demented fool. Your ignorance and far-left leanings know no bounds. You are in bed with Donald Tusk." I am not. You're in bed with Donald Tusk and denigrates Donald Trump, the President of the USA. How disrespectful, says Daniel in Langdon Park. I don't know when anybody's being sarcastic or not these days. I just can't tell. I mean, I assume you're being amusing or attempting. But on the other hand, it's just entirely possible that you're serious. Criticising me for denigrating Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America. How disrespectful. Daz texts, "You're a smart man, Nick." Well, compared to who? He says, "But have you never wondered why the EU are so obsessed with us staying in their club?" Well, I don't need to wonder. I know why. He says, "After all, they didn't want us to join in the first place, and we've supposedly been a pain ever since." Well, that is true. Maybe they're just interested in our money and getting control of us and our armed forces, including our nukes. Oh, for God's sake. Which is one of the hidden points of the Maastricht Treaty. And by the way, Tusk is one of the 5 unelected EU commissioners. He was appointed by the people that we elect directly. You can't elect everybody. He was appointed by the people that we elect, which is a hell of a lot more democratic than what is going on in this country at the moment. And the reason that they want us to stay is because our economies are intertwined. Massively complex relationships between our economies are going to be upended by us leaving, and everybody's going to be worse off. We're already much worse off, and we haven't even left yet. And they're going to be worse off. Vast numbers of companies are going to have to change their methods of production, where they get their products from. They're going to have to close factories here and open factories there, and they're going to have to shift offices, and the supply chains are going to be changed, and there's just no end of complications by us leaving. You know, you can't be a part of a large organism like that and not suffer the consequences, both the larger organism and the smaller part that's breaking off, when you rip it apart. That's why they want us to stay, is because it's just causing massive damage by us leaving. To them, but more so to us. But they're not, quite rightly, they wouldn't be concerned about the damage it's doing to us. They're concerned about themselves. Of course they are. That's their job, to be concerned about themselves. That's why they don't want us to leave, because it's hurting everybody. Tim emails, Nick, presumably your Labour internet idea will mean that our computers will only work for 3 days, for 3 days a week. The future's looking bright. You know, I remember at school, way back into time, people were talking about we're going to have 3-day weeks. Not because of a lack of work, but because the advancement of technology would mean that it wouldn't be necessary to go into work. We'd have huge stretches of time before us. It would be flipped. Instead of working 5 days and taking 2 days off, you do what I do. Work 2 days and take 5 days off. But it didn't happen that way, did it? In fact, with every advancement in what you would imagine to be labour-saving technology, we seem to be working even harder. I mean, it used to be that people would start at 9, they'd take an hour for lunch when they would leave the building, and they'd finish at 5, bang on. These days, you start at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're checking your emails from work at 7, the moment you get up, and you're commuting an hour into work. When you start at... you may start at 9, but you ain't leaving at 5, you're leaving at 6 or 7. And then you're doing work on the way home, you're catching up on your emails, and then you're writing up a report that the boss needs first thing in the morning while you're at home. Do no end of work. I mean, I don't, but most people do. Most people do. Abingdon, hello, Dean.
Hello, Nick. Great show as always.
Thanks.
I just got to say that I was saying to your researcher there that we've only just got 4G in our village, you know, and that took 10 years.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
I've only got I've
fibre
only got 4G, Dean. I've only had it for about 6 months.
Yeah. Anyway, they said that the fibre optic's on the way.
Yeah.
If enough people want it, you know.
Right.
So, but it's going to be £89 a month.
What?
Yeah.
£89
That's,
a month?
Yeah, I won't name the company, but...
No, don't.
£89 a month.
That's ridiculous.
For our village, yeah, and we've all said no, basically.
Yeah, quite right.
So they've gone, you know, so we ain't going to get fibre optics.
£89
£89,
a month.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I said this before. I think in the list of the 29 richest countries in the world, we are the 28th on the list of price per megabit.
Yeah.
In other words, we're just one away from being the most expensive country in the developed world for internet access.
Well, yeah, it's not only that. I mean, like Europe, for instance, the pensions in Germany, you get £26,000 a year.
What?
For a pension? Oh, yeah. You get £26,000 a year.
I don't think so.
France, it's 17,000.
Is it?
In the UK, it's 7.
Well, thank goodness we're leaving, because we won't be encumbered by all of that money.
That's true. We get 7 at the moment, you know.
Yeah. Well,
because I just retired and they gave me my pension, 7,000 something odd a year.
I'd be surprised if the standard German public pension is 26 grand.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Well,
and they're also, because my son lives in Germany, and he was telling me this the other day, and they get all their Medicare is free, and they've got. Well, I know near him there's a 60-bed retirement home, you know, for elderly people, and if the state has to pay, you know, if they've got not a lot of money, basically. and it's all built into their insurance system.
Right. Well, get your pink passport ready, Dean, and I'll see you at the airport. How does that sound? All right.
Well,
thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Suffolk. Pressing it. There it is. Andrew.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Me too. I've got a burning question for you.
Well, let me ask you this first, Andrew. How are you?
How many millions of times have you been asked that, do you think?
6 million times.
Excuse me.
Good grief. Are you all right?
It's cold. Yeah. No, I'm fine. What I wanted to ask you was what your favourite kind of rice was.
Ah, that's an excellent question. Mm-hmm.
What your least favourite kind of rice was.
I'm not keen on sticky rice. I just don't see the attraction, to be honest.
Yeah. The consistency's all wrong.
It is. I think my favourite would have to be, depending on how it's made, of course, but I think no rice can taste as good as risotto.
Okay, but that's the other ingredients that you put in with the rice.
Yes, that's right. So you mean just rice on its own?
Yeah.
Well, it would have to be wild.
rice.
It would have to be wild rice. You know, the ones that are white and black and brown,
crunchy,
green and
nutty.
yellow and pink and blue, orange and purple and green.
Groovy. I'm with you. Crunchy brown rice.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Well, no, not brown rice. Wild rice. Different.
Okay. That's black, isn't it?
It's got black bits in it, yeah. Were you objecting to that?
No, it's just not what sprung to mind when you first said it.
Right. Well, you want to keep up, mate. Okay, well, thanks for dragging me down that particular avenue, which I did enjoy. And, coincidentally, I'm feeling hungry. For pasta. Thanks, Andrew. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
Here is a vital call in Wimborne. Nick.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Yes. Hello, Tony. No, I'm calling you the wrong Abbott. I'm calling you Tony Abbott, who is a Conservative.
Oh, no. This isn't a listener with material, is it?
Slightly. Right, Nick, your NBN thing, the Labour Party's great idea, I wondered if you know that it's not in fact...
NBN? What's that?
Yes. The Australians, 10 years ago, under the Labour Party, started up a thing called the National Broadband Network.
Oh.
Right? Just in 2008, after the crash, in order to stimulate their economy.
Yes.
Yeah, and the big plan was to take fibre to everybody's house.
God,
yeah?
In Australia?
In Australia, 10 years ago, honestly.
That doesn't make any sense. In everybody's house in Sydney, maybe, but not everyone in Australia, surely.
The way it worked, all the big cities, dead easy.
Yeah.
You can fibre them all up easy. And then they had radio links to go to more remote places.
Right.
And then satellite for really, truly remote places.
Yes.
But you can type on your old Google, NBN Co., and you can see it's all there. And you're going to ask me why it wasn't a success, aren't
Why
you?
wasn't it a success, Nick?
Your brother, Tony Abbott. All right? Tony Abbott, Conservative Prime Minister, he came in and reversed the whole thing after about 5 years, like governments do.
What do you mean reversed? How can you reverse
decided
it?
not to do it because it was a Labour idea and he's a Conservative. So they decided that it was going to destroy all the competition, so they scrapped it all.
Right, and how did that go?
Well, they didn't totally scrap it all. They've kept little bits of it. But if you have a look at the history, the 10-year history of it, it's a bit of a disaster.
Well, I think Australia is a perfect example of how wires don't really work, because some places are just so far away from what you might call civilization.
You're totally wrong there. You're totally wrong, though, Nick, on that, because Australia has tons of fibre running right around the country. You know, they just dig a trench and shove a bit of fibre in it, and that's why their internet is absolutely very good in terms of connectivity. But you've got to remember that they put a fibre under the oceans, to connect us to America.
Well, yes, but
And
that's just in a straight line.
Yeah, but G5 won't work, or G4.
Why not?
It won't work. It works fine on your phones and stuff, but it won't work well enough for everybody to stream their Netflix.
Why not?
It all comes down to bandwidth. There isn't sufficient bandwidth, even at G5 frequencies, to pack all that data in. Whereas on an optical fibre, you can put oceans of data onto it, and it's all passive. It's called dark fibre. That's the technology they use. It's just glass. There's no electronics in there, so it's dirt cheap to do as well.
Well, if only you'd called earlier on, we'd have saved ourselves a lot of time.
I did think about it. I was going to do it earlier, but I intend to vote Labour because I just don't like Boris Johnson and I don't want their ideas kind of ruined. So I thought I'd phone you late at night.
All right. Well, you certainly did. All right. Good work. Thanks a lot, Nick. 0345 6060 973. On that subject, Phil emails, the fibre cable is pulled through the ducting of the existing wires because it is much smaller than copper wire it will replace. Not so much digging as you might think, but I agree wireless would be best. Well, how do you get it in the tube if you don't dig? I mean, do you push it through? I mean, I could understand that you just dig a bit and then, stick the wire in the tube, but can you successfully push it through? Or do you have to dig the entire road up, which I suspect is what it is? Because why are they doing that? Everywhere you go, they're digging up the blooming roads to stick a fibre down it. So you may have that wrong, or you may have it right. Here's another bloke called Nick, Vancouver.
Hi, Nick. My money's on specially trained ferrets.
Yes. Well, they're good for nothing else, let's face it. Ferrets, you say?
Yes, it's the British way. I'm sitting here in North America in Vancouver where we went broadband about 5-6 years ago.
Were you?
And I am stunned at the idea that they would dig up the street and run it down the middle of the street. Why don't you just hang it off the telegraph poles like they do here? It takes about 2 days to do a whole city that way.
Do you not put it in the streets?
Cost. Good God, no.
Well, you can't. You
don't
have telegraph poles running down city streets, surely?
Yes, of course we do.
Well, we don't.
No, you don't. That's why it's costing you a fortune.
Well, yeah, but it's surely better than. Does it not offend the eye? All of those wires hanging off poles everywhere.
Yeah, but then we look at our bank balance, and that's less offensive.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it literally took a day to do my whole street. A couple of hundred houses.
And what's
hanging off the wires.
Give us an idea of the price of a monthly superfast broadband connection.
Well, I have sort of superfast broadband connection. I've got 3 teenage foster sons plus myself. We can all be using it to its full extent. And I can still download a movie in about 3 minutes flat.
Yeah, but how much? How much does it cost? Tell me about the money, honey.
Telephone, cable TV, and internet as a package, because that's kind of how it comes here. Costs about $100 a month, so about 50 quid a month.
50, right. So it's about what it is here, I reckon, more or less, ish.
No, I don't know. Like I said, that's your full TV package with your HBO.
You don't get to lord it over us with your Canadian superiority with that kind of money, Nick. That's about what it costs here.
Yeah, but I make $200,000 a month doing a job that in Britain pays about $70,000.
$200,000 a month? What do you do?
Yep.
Bank robber. Drug dealer.
No, I run an
I'm calling the police.
Political company.
Oh, yeah, all right. Okay, thanks a lot, Nick. 0345 6060 973. This says, what do you do on the other 5 days? What, that I'm not working? I think. Deep thoughts, Andy. I concentrate really hard on this show. I give it positive waves, and I'm busy. It's amazing how much your your activities expand to encompass the amount of time you have at your disposal. That's a really long-winded way of putting it. But, putting things in a long-winded way is what eats up those 5 days that I'm not working. Just exploring ways in which to express myself at length. That's what I do for the other 5 days. I'm thinking. Don't worry about it, Andy. Let me do the thinking, and you can thank me later. No, I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
Actually, one thing I did this week was take my mum to go see 42nd Street. Naughty, bawdy, haughty, sporty, 42nd Street. It's on at the cinema. It was recorded in Drury Lane. Oh, it was great. My mum was levitating. She was so happy. It really is terrific. If you haven't seen 42nd Street, I think there's a couple of showings in some cinemas. It's there now. These events that they put plays and concerts and theatre productions on in a cinema near you. Much, much cheaper. Plus, you don't have to go all the way to the West End of London. It's a great thing. It really is. The amount of money they must make from putting it in a cinema compared to how much they make from putting it on in the theatre. I'm amazed that more productions aren't doing that, because it's just terrific. I mean, some of the things I've seen of that kind of thing have just been tremendous. I saw Roger Waters out of Pink Floyd with the very same thing.
Rock and roll!
These events that they have on at the cinema. And 42nd Street is on at the moment in quite a few cinemas around the country. And trust me, you'll love it. It really is fantastic. You just, even if you're the kind of person that thinks you don't like musicals, it would be impossible for you to go and see it and not like it. I challenge you not to like 42nd Street. And the stuff they got coming up as well is, it's just great. It's amazing they didn't really think of it before. All those screens that aren't really doing much during the day, particularly. And, you look at the list of films that are on, and unless you're a 15-year-old and into robots that change shape, then there ain't nothing on for you. But if you put on the West End of London, all of the theatre productions that are going on, you just need to point a camera at them, put them on at the cinema, charge people 15 quid a go, Bob's your uncle. Everybody's made a fortune. So that's my tip of the week. Go see 42nd Street while it's still on at the cinema. Recorded in Drury Lane, I think. It is great, mate. Steve emails. My glamorous assistant says, I love robots that change shape.
Affirmative.
I hope that the Terminator film that has just come out is good. Let's hope it's not as bad as the one where all the Terminators showed up at the same time. Oh, spoiler alert.
Warning, warning.
And finally, I'm going to have to say that this is the final thing, because I very much doubt that anybody could top this. Prepare yourself, because this is a listener with material. Steve emails, that last caller who didn't like wild rice because of the black grains was a bit riceist. I knew that there was a joke in there somewhere, and when I was speaking to him, I just didn't know that that's where it was. So congratulations, that man. You win a major prize. Major prize is not available. Always read the label. Now, what might happen between now and 10 o'clock this evening, I've got no idea. It just boggles my mind thinking about it. This is my mind being boggled. But whatever it is, we'll chew it up and we'll spit it out then, eh? If you stick around, I believe that Steve Allen will set you straight at 5. But right now, it's Matt Stadlen.
Nick, how lovely to talk to you again.
Yeah.
This time last night, I was singing along to Somebody to Love with friends. You heard that song before?
Somebody to Love by
Queen.
Oh yes, Queen.
Yes.
Right.
Would you like to come to dinner at some point?
No.
There's a 12-page spread of my photographs and words in the independent magazine for Nick on uses right now, Nick. You can buy it in the shops.
Oh, they're pictures of what?
Birds.
Yeah, it's very offensive to call them birds.
Guess what the headline was?
Not
or is?
birds, you're supposed to say totty.
Guess what the headline is?
Go on.
An eye for the birds. And guess what one of my Twitter followers said?
I can't.
No wonder your wife left you.